Hey there. I kind of fell off for a little while. I was keeping up with this, and then I don't know. February has just kind of was not prepared for February. I've been trying to figure out what the deal is. It's just kind of a crazy month. My son has a random week off of school, and I did some volunteering there, and I don't know, I overplanned it and underplanned it at the same time, which I'm not sure how I did that, but it's a knack I have. So I am going to get into the third um, path that I was going to talk about, or that I started talking about a few videos ago. Path number one being just switching careers but staying corporate. Another one was keeping in your field or in doing what you do but starting your own business. And so the combination is starting your own business and doing something completely different. But first, obviously, my background is a little different. I'm at my parents' house because my son has a week off of school, and I don't know, we don't get to visit them very often. So I decided this is a good time to do it. And it enables me to get some work done, and that he gets to visit with his grandparents. But one of the things that happens as we drive here, and we started doing that during COVID, and now it's just, I don't know, I find it a little easier. I don't know. I find air travel very like annoying to begin with, but if it's just me, it's manageable. But throwing in a small child with it, it's just I mean, he's capable of dealing with it, but it's just something I'd rather not deal with, airports and all of that. So anyway, we drive. And when we drive, we go down this stretch of highway that goes right by my very first engineering project that I did pretty much all by myself. Like, I had oversight because I was a junior engineer. I wasn't a licensed professional yet. I was in training, but it was a site that the person that I used to work with, my mentor, basically, he was a few years ahead of me, and was reviewing all of my work and kind of showing me the ropes because it was my first real job as an engineer. And so I had worked on a couple of projects closely with him, and he was taking the lead on this one as well. But then September 11th happened, and he got deployed. He was reserves. So all of a sudden the project fell in my lap, and really I had nothing else to do but do it. And I did. And I still had support from other people in my office, but it was really just it kind of completely fell onto me. And what I've learned since then is that is when I really thrive. I guess that just triggers my adrenaline and my dopamine, like, oh, big, like, emergency, thing to deal with. And so I did it. And I remember being just so proud of it. And now I drive by on my way. If I drive down to see my parents, I see it because it's up against one of the highways. It was a Caterpillar dealership, where you rent the big trucks. And so at any rate, when I drove by there last year, it was around this, it was around this time last year, I guess. And I was really trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to be doing. I knew I wanted to take my business in a different direction. What did I want to focus on? The things that I thought I wanted to do, I was like, I don't know. They're not making me feel excited anymore. What is it that I want to be doing? And so I was feeling very stuck, and I drove down to visit. And as I was driving and I passed this area, I was just thinking about that time in my life. I was in my mid-20s. I was married to my ex, and so there was a lot of things that, like, I don't know, I knew something wasn't vibing right there. But from a career perspective, even though I really had no idea what I was doing, I mean, I was still very new to the industry, and I was learning, but I loved learning that kind of stuff and figuring it out. And of course, I was worried about not doing well. I mean, I will tell anybody that I am, like, all about the gold stars and the A+. And so the fear of failure was always there and very motivating for me. More, I guess not fear of failure, but like getting the reward, like showing I could do it, getting the gold star. But but I didn't have a fear of not being able to figure it out. Like it, I feared not doing something well, but I didn't ever have this like fear that I, even if I didn't do it well, that I wouldn't figure it out. I don't, it doesn't really make any sense because they kind of seem related, but it was more this, yes, I can do anything. And we'll figure out how to do it well. And, of course, some of that was the just that youthful like arrogance, because even though I didn't want to fail, and I would have been crushed had I failed, I guess it really didn't occur to me that I might fail. I just still believed that I could, like everything was just magically going to work out well for me because I had done well in school. I had done, all of these things. So, so I guess it was really that, while I, on reflection, know that I would have died had I failed, or I would have felt like I did. I was really not expecting that I would. Like I just, believed in myself in a way that I was not feeling very much like I did a little bit ago. And it's funny how when I was driving by there and I was just like kind of got re-immersed in that, because I was going down roads that I used to go down and saw things that I used to see all the time. And I could remember other projects and just other things that were going on at that time in my life. And I was like, where did she go? Now I'm grateful that I don't have that same kind of like arrogance and a little bit of, I have a little bit more humility and perspective, but still that belief in myself, I was like, where did that go? And I really started reflecting on that idea of what happened. And, I was focusing on some of the big changes in my life and where I had felt like I had failed and what that had done to me and what I hadn't really bothered to examine. I figured I was doing fine. But clearly had been bothering me. So I did a lot of work with that. And I started thinking about that just as an idea of when, looking back in your life, did you feel the most like you? And like you weren't being someone else for anybody else, like that you, even if things in your life weren't perfect, but when did you feel inside like this is me, even if it wasn't a perfect situation? I mean, gosh, in my 20s, I had no money and I was in a marriage that wasn't going to work out. And, so there were problems, but at least in one area of my life, I knew I was really feeling like myself. And so it was a good place for me to go to start reflecting and kind of come back to what it was that I wanted to do and what I wanted to focus on without that fear or that belief that I wouldn't be able to figure it out. Like I was able to reflect and look back at all of the things that I have done and be like, okay, well, I mean, nothing that I'm looking forward ahead to doing is any more onerous than anything that I've already accomplished. But you kind of forget when you don't reflect on it very much. You just keep going, and you forget about all of these things that you've done. So if you are feeling a little bit stuck, like I was, I highly suggest, even if you can go to the place that made you feel that way, I think there is definitely something about being there, or a smell or just something will trigger those memories. But if you can just reflect a little bit on where it was or when it was in your life that you felt the most like you, and try to figure out where that went, where did that you-ness go, and see if you can't figure out a way to help regain her and bring her back into your life, because I guarantee you she's pretty awesome. Anyway, I'll go back to career path stuff, but that was just something that I was thinking about as I drove by again this past couple days. And so I just wanted to share that. I hope everybody is doing well, and thanks for listening. Bye.